Well, hey, man,
Long time no see.
about 20 minutes, maybe a half hour.
Yeah.
Man, listen, I just got back to my hotel room here in Louisville, Kentucky, where we are for the uh, B Expo up here, and I just was like, you know what? Let me just see if we should do a little live stream and just kind of let people know what's going on, kind of share with people how it's been, and just talk a few minutes about it. Don't expect it to be a long live chat. We just thought we'd hop on for just a couple of minutes. We're gonna have, I think, have some people checking in here. If you're here at the conference, throw some stuff in the comments. Let us know. We've seen a lot of you here. It's been another phenomenal experience. And if you haven't been here, we'll try and update you a little bit, kind of let you know how it's been going, and kind of what we've been up to. So once again, we're up here in Louisville, Kentucky, at the North American Honeybee Expo, Cayman's conference. He's put this thing together. I guess this is the fifth year. Actually, it's grown every year, I think, and this year is just the trade show. Brian is phenomenal.
Oh yeah. I the size of it, like last year when the conference moved from Sevierville to and I was actually schooled today by a local on how to say Lowville. I
Louisville. It's Louisville.
It's not Louisville because
It's
I got
Lou. It's Louisville, like Louisville.
yeah, I still can't say it right, but when the Expo moved, it was large last year. I thought it was just for the short amount of time that Cayman had just to get everything ready, and there's just a lot of details, a lot of I's to dot, T's to cross, and it was massive. Now this year, I think just like the trade show itself, there was that entire area last year where it was food and it was blocked off for things. That entire room has just been expanded out, and it is massive,
Yeah, it
just
really is.
really massive.
You know,
So,
they've got great speakers here. I went to one this morning on hive beetles. It was really good, and of
mm,
course, I spent the rest of my time back there in the trade show, hanging out with everybody. But I see a lot of names in here, people that we've seen since we've been here. People have been coming up and talking to us, and been able to meet a lot of people. A lot of folks I've met before, but a lot of people I haven't, I think, and so it's been pretty cool. Frankly, Brian, I, I haven't really known what to do. I haven't shot any kind of consistent video. I have shot some video. I didn't really come with a plan, didn't really know what to do. And so I just kind of have been wandering around, kind of lost. I tell people I have everything I need. Of course, there's a lot of things I wouldn't mind having. So it's almost, if you're not here and if you haven't seen it, it's almost impossible to understand how big that trade show is. It's like I walked through yesterday, the first day I was here, the first day of the show, and walked up and down the aisles in the show, and it probably took me 20 to 30 minutes. And I was just filming, trying to video and like all the different booths and all the different places. And it took me so long just to walk through and kind of just walking through and trying to film. I not even really
yeah.
stopping and looking and shopping. And so I know I've walked right past places, people I may even want to talk to. And
Mhm.
also, this is such a big thing. There have been people here, like from my local area and other YouTube folks and folks that we know from previous conferences, that I wasn't sure if they were even here until this afternoon because I didn't see them until then. Because there's just so much room and space for people to move and do things. And so, what's been your overall feel of the conference, your overall sentiment?
Oh, I mean, it's just been. I think several people said it's basically like a family reunion. You go in there and YouTube. You can somewhat like the two of us. We can get on here and we can chat. We can get to know each other virtually, but then seeing everybody in person, some of those people, this is the fourth year that I've seen them, and it's just awesome. I mean, and like I've said, you can't put a value on that time that you get to spend together. And I heard in one of the interviews today, the individual said, just be present in the moment. And that's 100% spot on it. It's just that's what I want to do, is just be present right there at the expo and get to see everybody, talk to everybody. And I've made it a point this year, and I've said that I've always mentioned before, and I've always said before, well, I'm going to take pictures. I want to get pictures with people. This year, I was just looking at my phone earlier, and I've probably got 40 or 50 pictures with different people. So that's awesome there, and that I'll have that memory there. But it's just talking to everybody's been fantastic.
Yeah.
So
When I decided to do this chat tonight, you didn't know about it. I didn't even know about it. And there's Greg. He didn't know about it. And
this,
I think Greg was probably just driving home. And Brian, what'd you do? You called him or texted him and said, "Hey, Bruce is going to go live." And Greg made it back. Greg has been working super hard. You can tell Greg maybe looks a little tired there. I know Susie is really tired, and so she's probably not real excited about Greg being on this live chat. But anyway, Greg, tell us. We just kind of talking just for a few minutes here about overall thoughts on the conference and what has been your takeaway from the conference so far, Greg.
Yeah, guys, at first, thanks for hanging out and being a part of the whole thing. Everyone makes the whole thing great. We have just an excellent team this year, so shout out to them, holding the fort down, getting the pre-orders in and out, loading everybody up, taking care of things at the front register, keeping things running smooth, and it's given me the opportunity to do what I love to do most. That's to visit with folks, shake hands, hear their stories, just spend a lot more time with folks than we ever have, and that's been just so absolutely incredible. Each year you think that the whole entire thing is going to feel different, look different. Maybe there's a different opportunity. Maybe there's is there going to be less people? Is there going to be more people? But there seems to be kind of something. We kind of touched on this a little bit when we had the super group of YouTubers all at once. It was just like we didn't even put the word out. Just everyone showed up. They were all there and got to spend time and ask each one of them, what does this thing mean to you? What's this all about? And kind of the underlying thing is the thing that we always say. It's always about the people. Bees are the conduit to the people. And so here we are, day two, and I actually, I've been feeling got a little more energy, and starting to feel like I can get a sense for what's going on. But truth be told, guys, I don't know that I necessarily have my head wrapped around this entire expo quite yet. I think we all need time to decompress after to really kind of truly get a sense for what it was. But what I can tell you, kind of the quick thing that when I look back today and yesterday, we haven't made it outside of the vendor hall. I put a couple things out for donation and entered something into a contest before it all started. So in a lot of ways, it's real similar to last year as far as what kind of our role in is it. But one thing that's definitely seems to be a lot different this year. There seems like there's been a kind of a shift in the change for the good with a lot of folks. I know Brian, Bruce, our faith, what we believe in, is not something that we have to wear on our sleeve. It's not something that we have to thump people over the head about, but it's something that does come through who we are, what we do, how we do, why we do. And that's beekeeping. It's anything else that we do. And I can't tell you the number of folks, overwhelming support of folks just coming out to say, hey, thanks. Thanks for being real. Thanks for sharing what you believe in. Thanks for sharing who you are. You, Brian, and Bruce mean so much. It kind of blows me away, and it's something that we take for granted. The little things that we do, just sharing who we are, what we're about, spending time with folks, every Wednesday night on the chat. You just don't realize what that means to others, how important that is. And it's not for me to get into all these details and tell all the stories, but guys, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, there were more than just a couple folks that came up in tears to share how much it means that we shared the message that we have, and that has helped them get through some really tough times, helped them get their life back in order. The testimony, the witness, the things that I heard from others was so incredibly inspiring. I don't ever remember it being like this at the Expo. This is the very first year where it has felt like this, and that's a tremendous thing.
yeah,
Well, I think it's just to me there is a different feel this year. When I went to first came to the conference, it was 4 conferences ago, or this is the fourth one I've been to. So it was the second time they did it, and I was so excited to be there, and I was like filming everything and just and introducing myself, just really just super excited. And the electricity was incredible. And but it was my first time there at a big, really at any big conference, honestly, or any conference at all, beekeeping conference. And so I was really trying to work on a video and really worried about that. Met you guys for the first time there in person. That was right when this whole thing was getting started. And the second year was a little bit more of the same. And last year, I guess the second year that I went, and then last year, it seemed like Greg, especially in your case, with trying to build your booth and get things going and run your business there, there seemed to be, even though we had a really good time, there was a lot more stress. Am I accurate on that? I know
Yeah.
there's
Oh yeah.
obviously stress, but this year, to me, it seems like maybe it's because it's a bigger space now. There are more opportunities for people to go in a larger area, and it just seems like it's maybe, at least from my perspective, a less stressed out type of a feel from the vendors possibly, and maybe people seem to be more relaxed and just maybe enjoying themselves and just kind of hanging out. That's always happened. But there's a little bit of a different feel. Maybe it's just me. Whereas I didn't come with really a big plan to shoot a video. I wanted to shoot one, but wasn't sure. I didn't plan on doing this live stream or not. I didn't come with any kind of a plan. I told people several times today, I was walking around looking at stuff, and I'm like, I really don't need anything. Of course, there's stuff I wouldn't mind getting. I'm going to get some stuff probably tomorrow, but it's just been kind of a more chill, laid back, almost like it's been more comfortable for me being
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And I think, Greg, to your point, people seem to be more comfortable to come up and share those thoughts, like you mentioned, with us, as far as not just what we've shared. I know that we saw, we've seen, is it Tom and Melissa from Via Honeybees and some different people from different channels that are just, they have a lot of the same views and thoughts as we do, and the importance of things that matter most. And so the business is great, the bees are great, but it is like 33 Mile Bees says here. Says there is if I can get it to show up here. It says it feels like a family gathering more than a beekeeping conference this year. And I do agree with that. I think it's kind of felt like that, but it's just a little bit different. I can't really explain it, but it's been a little different. And so,
I know what the difference is.
yes,
Now, this is probably going to be number 107 or 108, but what Greg has done, why he wasn't as stressed with the booth and that, is he was able to
dial it in.
Dialing it in. I mean, how many times have we said that today? At least 108, maybe 109. But I mean, all joking aside, I mean, that's really what it's about.
yeah.
As this thing has grown, like our booth, for instance. When we were first going to these expos, there was a lot of static booths. There was a lot of just tables set out with stuff out front. And from the very beginning, we knew we wanted this more of an interactive. Let's walk through. Let's make this thing more about the experience and having those folks. And that you see a lot of that now. You see a lot more interactive booths. Things are that way more inviting. It's not just like a swap meet flea market kind of a feel. It's
Mhm.
more inviting. It's more entertaining. There's little educational series things kind of going on. But as all those things grow, as our business has grown, as what we think we want to do for the expo has grown, you start to get some kind of an idea of what to expect in a scenario where you have no idea what to expect. So all we do is build off of and we talk about this with beekeeping. It's really no different, right? As far as you have experience, right? You have an experience with something good, bad, or ugly, and you build upon that experience. And then when you do that, you eventually get a little bit of wisdom and insight into that. So we say, okay, now I can make this choice. Now I can do that. Every year we've done that and made our best stab or guess on what to expect, what kind of turnout, how much equipment, all these kind of things. And what we have done much differently is we're able to just put a team together to help take care of so many other things, and then everything runs smoother. The folks at the Bee Expo have also done a really good job to help things run smoother.
Yeah.
The whole entire crew. I'll probably leave some out. We got Randy Southard, you got Jake Osborne, Chris Medeiros, you got Steve Amos, Jeremy Lindsay. Who am I missing? I'm
Good
Josh
job.
Hager. So many
Yeah.
of them are just running and scrambling around, but they've done such a good job. Especially they got all of us vendors who are bringing things in by the semi load. they got us in even a day earlier, get everything staged. And for me, what that means is now I had an entire business day to get the booth set up, and then I had half a day the following day to kind of just tune things up, and we needed all that time. And
Mhm.
man, what a difference that it made, because the booth is set up, everything is squared away, just like we like it. We're not rushing in. And when I told so many guys this, it's like when we're there to set up, even on that early day, we habitually feel like, oh, it's like every other expo where we're like, we got to get in, we got to get set up, we got to get ready. Doors are opening at 12:30, boom, boom. And like I had to remind myself several times that, hey, we have all day today. We got half a day tomorrow. Like, just slow down, think through it. You're right. But we have such a good team that are just taking care of all those things too.
Mhm.
That's the big difference. I think everybody is more
I think,
prepared now than they've ever been.
Yeah.
The folks at
I
the
think you're
expo,
right.
us, you guys too. And
Mhm.
then we can start to enjoy this experience a little bit different. If we had a counter on how many people are going in and out of our booth, it's probably 2 or 3 times greater, maybe 4 times greater than last year. But it literally feels like it's 25% of the stress, if that. And that's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, Steve says here, he says, Greg, I agree 100%. It's not a beef flea market. It's truly an expo. You can learn as much in the hall as you can in the classroom. So much wisdom, and so that kind of sums it up in a lot of ways. That there's a lot of things going on, a lot of learning going on in the classrooms with about
Mhm.
bees and so forth. But then there's also a lot of just stuff. That's one thing that's always amazed me about this conference is all the deals, all the relationships, everything that's going on throughout the entire center, whether it's in the classrooms, whether it's in the trade show. I talked to Mike with EasyOx today for quite a while. I actually did a little interview with him, and one of his reasons for being here is to help have businesses pick up his product, which is one of the only two approved oxalic acid uh, treatments in the
Yep.
country. And he's had 3 or 4 companies that kind of so it's come up to him, and they're talking it, talking business a little bit. So, that's one of the beautiful things about it is not only is there relationships between the instructors and the classes in the big classrooms, between the judges and the honey contest people, between the vendors and the customers, and between the YouTubers, but there's also relationships between different businesses that can connect in this conference and help you've grown, I think, because of some of that, Greg. I know, Brian, you've been able to make some relationships with your business as well, and
Yeah.
so many businesses that have been able to share right there, just walk across the hall from each other. It's 100, maybe 100 yards in this place, as opposed to, you know, 2,000 miles, and so people can actually go and talk to each other and talk business and grow their product, their business, and really try to hatch some great ideas here and figure out how to get it done. And so I really think it's just awesome in just so many different ways. So much wisdom being shared, so
Mhm.
many relationships being built, and so many people getting great deals. And Greg, I think one thing you hit the nail on the head too, as far as the stress. I remember 3 years ago in Sevierville when I showed up and I hadn't met you guys yet, but I wanted to kind of get involved and help you. And I kind of figured out a way to sneak in there. And I think it was that morning. That morning, you were just getting in that morning and trying to get everything set
Right.
up. Like 7 o'clock in the morning, you got there because of that winter storm had come in. So you were trying to get unloaded and get set up as the conference was starting, basically, which was highly stressful for you. You had driven all that night and you were just exhausted. And the fact that they've opened this thing up to you guys, I guess they kind of had to out of necessity with all the people coming. But now, like you said, you had a full day to just get everything ready, to think about your plan, your operation, get everything ready and everything set up so that when it actually started, you weren't scrambling trying to make sure everything was working right. And this might be the first year where it's really felt that way. It's like everybody's kind of hitting their stride a little bit. The vendors, the center, Expo Center, and the conferences as well, getting everything coordinated so things are streamlined and grease the skids, so to speak. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's becoming more apparent with conferences across the country. If you actually want to put on a conference that beekeepers are going to show up to, like more than 50 or 60 beekeepers, like if you want to get three, four, 500, 1,000 beekeepers to show up, your number one focus is not speakers. Your number one focus is vendors, good quality vendors that have great products at a great prices. That is what's driving, in my opinion, these expos. So many folks are coming because they can get a good deal. They can save on shipping. They can look at it, feel, touch it. And that's really helped us also with EnduraHive Wax Dip. Folks can go around that room. They can put their hands on our product. They can touch it. They can feel it. They can ask questions. They can go around that entire space and they can see who else is doing wax tips, who else is doing that. They can compare it. They can see it. They know they can see the difference. They come right back to the booth. They make the purchase. In this case, that's a way different opportunity than you go to conferences where there aren't vendors, or it's only about the education side, or, and it's no offense, or it's just a doctorate or a PhD or a master beekeeper, and it's just about the education and the presentation. There's a time and there's a place for that, and those are excellent. But when it comes to having expos be successful, it seems to literally hinge on the success of the vendors. When you take care of the vendors, when you do right by them, they want to show up. They want to be there. They want to have good deals. They want to bring semi loads of product. They're excited about it. The people are excited about it. And that's what keeps things moving forward. And that this year, the expo, the guys behind the scenes, man, they have just done a tremendous job helping us be as successful as possible. And that's been a super big deal.
You know, Greg, I don't know if they're faking it, but those guys actually seem a little bit more like less stressed out this
They're
year too.
happy, man. Everybody's
To be having a
just
good
the
time. Even
overall
the guys
mood.
putting
Yeah.
it on. It's just, I think them allowing folks in a day earlier has made all the difference, and just
Yeah.
opening it up.
Huge.
I think it was it I can't remember who it was talking to me about how they got you guys in some of the big truckloads of stuff, but the way they arranged it so the trucks could come in and do their thing. Sounds like they really just had a plan figured out for you guys to be able to get in, get your stuff unloaded, and get out, and just very well organized and efficient this year,
Mm-hmm.
which
Bruce,
takes off of everybody.
what happens when you're in a hurry and you go out to the bee yard? You barely got a smoker lit. You barely get your veil, and you got a lid. You got the things you know you've got to get done. It's a timeline, right? It's just getting dark. You never got around to getting these bees done. You start cracking the lids. You're in a hurry. They pick up on that energy. They react. Now you're both reacting. You know, they're up in your face. They're getting spicy. You're not getting things done. The sun's going down. You can't see. Da 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 da. And it all stacks and builds and creates momentum in a negative direction. But if you take your time, if you get everything lined out, set up, ready to go, right? Everything, boom, boom, boom. Everything just falls into place and it all stacks being successful. But if you start getting off on the wrong foot, things just continue to go that way, right? And I think I'm not saying that things went the wrong way in the past, but when it's hurried, when it's rushed, when it's not thought out, when it's not done well, it just creates a lot of extra stress. The vendors are now stressed up because they aren't getting set up. They don't have enough time. They can't get in. They can't get out. They're stressed out. They have no. They're voicing that, maybe in a respectful way, maybe not even. They're voicing that to the folks that are doing their best to try to put the conference on. Now those folks are stressed out. Now every person that they touch, they're spreading that stressed outness to everybody, and it spreads and it spreads. Now the whole vibe, everything is going sour. This person's talking about that, da 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 da, and it just gets out of hand. But when you keep things smooth up front, get the vendors in, give them time, get them set up, it just everything just falls right in line, starts to run smooth, and you can see that there is a lot of happy faces this year. I'm not saying people were unhappy last year, but when you give everything time and place, it just spreads. And I think there's a lot more happy faces, a lot more good going on, it seems.
Yep. Yeah. This year, what I've seen at your booth, prior years, the stress level was through the roof. Last year, how things were set up, and as far as the three of us doing what we do there, last year, fantastic time. This year, you guys touched on there's just a different feel. It's a different atmosphere.
Yep.
And I think if you think of ahead of time, I think deep in the back of your head, Greg, you were like, things need to be a little bit different up front.
Oh, yeah.
For the three of us, and setting it up like a learning yard style. Think of it's like the content creator moment where there was, what was there, a dozen or 14 guys
At
all there.
least, yeah.
That all of those people would not have fit last year.
No.
And the people walking through, like you had that, young boy Tate that was just
Oh man.
thrilled, so I think this year, having it in that fashion, it's just you're more for the relationships, and that's like I said, that's why I'm there. You're there to talk to the people, and it's just the whole entire atmosphere. Like Steve said, everybody has said, it's just the stress level is down. Things this year have just run, from my seeing it, much more smoothly.
I,
So,
I feel kind of like this is something that 5 years ago or so, it was just like a plan that still was yet to be hatched.
Mm.
It was
yeah,
just I think Cayman was thinking about it in Laurel, and they really had no idea what to do or how to do it. And then they had that first conference, which I was not at. I guess Greg, I know you were. I'm not sure about you, Brian, the very first one, but that was kind of I think where the vision was kind of they grabbed a hold of the vision that this thing could really turn into something. And then I think ever since then there's been a lot of stress because there's been a lot of, first of all, people learning what to do. Like Cayman, they had never done a conference like this, knew what was involved, and so they've been having to learn. And then there have been some outside factors that have made it stressful for him, and a lot of those things have started. And then just the experience factor. Last year they kind of had to throw this thing together in about a half of a year. In like 6 or 7 months they threw the entire conference together from scratch. And so last year they came and they experienced it. They had already had the experience of starting a conference, and then with this new expo they did last year for the first time, it was a much bigger venue with way more people, but they kind of knew what to expect coming in this year, and they had the entire year to be able to um, just plan and prepare and see what maybe was stressful or didn't work as well last year. And I'm not sure if there really are more people here this year. I know there are way more vendors. It's not, if there are, it's not many more. And so they kind of know how they can deal with the traffic of the people. And I think they've been able to create an environment where everyone is able to just kind of feel relaxed. The traffic flow is good. They have really good speakers. They have really good vendors. And I think that it's been really cool. It's just been different. I haven't really known what to do. It's like I've just kind of been wandering around talking to people. Just haven't really. I just didn't really come with any kind of a plan, and I haven't worked any kind of plan. It's just been kind of like this thing tonight. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm not even 100% sure I'm going to have video material, so why don't I just put it live on tonight and kind of update folks on how it's going? I
yeah,
see a lot of people in here that have been here, but there's some I'm sure that are commenting that weren't able to make it this year. And I would encourage you, looking in the future, just to really consider coming, and especially if you've never been before, to experience something like this. It's just a really neat opportunity to rub shoulders with people who do what you do and who are like-minded as you are. There's when you come here, it feels like it's a family. We've talked about that with all the people you see on YouTube, all the people you see, you read about articles. There's a lot of famous people who are giving talks. People like Randy Oliver and of course Bob Benny, and some of the greats are here. And then all these companies that you order from, the Man Lakes and the Daydance, and now the Hilco that's turned into, they've got their own zip code of this thing. And so the big companies, but then you also get to walk around and see people who are, kind of your middle-sized companies like you, Greg. You're building your thing. You've got this EnduroHive thing that you've really developed, and there's so many companies that are doing exactly what you're doing, as far as they have something they've latched onto that they've really become good at, and they've kind of, and they're, Rob with Larabis, and just so many companies like that. And then some small companies just getting going, some new technology, and you can just see everything that's going on in the beekeeping world. It seems like if you come to one of these or this conference in particular.
Yeah, I don't know, what to expect with, tomorrow's the last day. I don't, it's you think about the first day, you're just trying to get your feet underneath you, try to sort through all the shenanigans, and okay, what's all the things? How can we tighten things up? What do we want to accomplish tomorrow? Tomorrow comes and you go through the day and like, okay, the booth's set up, everything is running smooth. That's like, okay, what do we want to do? What do we one of the things that I think I like is we had a couple folks at first were like, oh, you guys aren't doing the broadcast booth look like you did before. And I said, we've done that for like 3 years in a row. And I said, why it's cool. It feels like it's getting old. It's getting rusty. It's getting dusty. We wanted just to try something different. And we had a couple ideas of talking to Brian, talking to Jason Crook. And by the way, shout out to Brian and Jason. They're on the sales floor making it happen. It's so great. You got Bruce cruising through too, having guys on the floor who can speak to the products. They're not getting paid. They're helping us out. It's such a big deal. And it's just one extra thing helping things run smooth. Bees are the conduit to the people, but we couldn't be here selling the bees, selling the equipment. We didn't have the right people uh, on deck helping us out, do those things. But what seems to be happening? So we decided, hey, let's do something a little different. Let's bring something that so many folks love from home, the learning yard. Let's bring that to our booth. Let's set up some colonies where we can hands-on. We can demo the products. We can bring speakers in. And one of the things that I think I made a mistake on, um, that I really wasn't anticipating. Okay, in your mind, you have an idea of all these things that you want to do. And okay, I reached out and I got all these manufacturers, all these speakers, all these things, and okay, let's try to put a schedule together. And then when you look at all the overlapping schedules with the speakers and then the time that there's vendors, it's like, man, we've got like 23 potential interviews or moments that we want to capture. How do we make all that happen without making it feel rushed? And you started to line stuff out, and it was just too on top. It was too rushed for the sake of getting all that through. So then we just kind of, it just happened. But it was like, okay, let's be a little looser with this, right? If someone comes up and they say, hey, let's just look for the opportunities in the here and the now, and let's take advantage of that. Got to meet so many great folks like Beekeeper Tate. I think it's Four C's Bees. Just a really cool kid. Just loves beekeeping. Got a YouTube channel going on. We've got is it oh, don't hate me, Ray Lynn from Newfoundland. Got to talk to us about
Yeah.
beekeeping in Newfoundland, and what a cool lady and a cool experience, and just to learn about, like, there are actually bees somewhere who have like no trouble with Varroa at all. To
Yeah.
learn a little bit more about that, to talk with Mohammed from Egypt. They've been keeping bees in this culture for 7,000 years, and
Mhm.
what their number one problem is. You would be shocked to figure out what they're actually dealing with. Is that different from us? Got to spend some time with these folks, hear their story, learn more about what it is about the bugs in the box for them. And that is so important. Get to just spend time with folks as they come in, and you have those moments where it was like this mega crater thing all at once, boom.
Mhm.
Just so many folks that if we were too rigid with the structure and too rigid with it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, we wouldn't have had all those great talks. I wouldn't be able to spend the time with Fred Dunn to learn what is it like looking through the lens of Fred Dunn, seeing all these things. Like, spend some time with Yappy goofing off. Just everyone that we've got to spend a little bit of time learning about some products, learning about who they are, what is their experience like, and then just meeting some really cool folks like Jake from White House on the Hill. There's just it's different this year. We just slowed the whole thing down, right?
Yeah.
It's organized, it's high and tight. We are really dialed in. I think folks are picking up on that. We are picking up on that, and the overall vibe and the just everything about the booth is just. I don't think we couldn't be any happier. It's been
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
I really like the format of just not feeling pressured
Yeah.
to stick to a schedule. Although it was a lot of fun, and some of the videos we got out of that, the interviews were just, well, they all were just
Oh,
awesome. And Greg,
yeah.
you put them out recently, the one with Chris Werner.
Oh, yeah.
People don't realize that was actually last year. Someone today thought they said, "Well, how did you guys must have got there early to do that?" And I was like, "Well, no, we did it last year." So, but the timing on that, Greg, that video has had a major impact. And I didn't want to stay on too late. It's after 10 o'clock here. I just want to get on for a little while. But Greg and Brian, if you have any thoughts you want to pitch into, maybe take just a couple of minutes and tell us the story of that video, Greg. I mean, I know we filmed that video a year ago, but you were telling us the story when we first got here about how that kind of worked out almost, I don't know, like almost in a miraculous way, the inspiration you had to go ahead and put that thing out when you did, the timing of that thing and how it fell together
Yeah.
for you.
I'm going to save the whole story for one of those short story long sessions at some point, because there is so much to that I want to make sure that we uncover and talk about. With that video though, I knew from that moment, then a lot changed in our life really quickly on that visit with Chris Werner, and it was, and what I really believe is that God used Bob Benny to put me in touch with Chris Werner, and a lot of things changed in our life. And
How many
we'll
years ago?
talk.
How long ago was that?
Um,
That was like 6 or 7 years ago, wasn't it? Probably.
well, I'm trying to think. I think that was the year that I brought back some blue dot queens from Bob. So we're in blue dot queens again. So those blue dot queens would have been a year old. So like 4 years ago, something like that, maybe. Um, that is a very long story, and I do want to get into that at some point. But there was a lot of great content last year. The business was growing afterwards. Everything was just crazy. When we come back from these expos, we're just right back hot and heavy, getting equipment dipped, getting the hive kits ready, uh, starting to dial in nukes and queens and scheduling and all these things. And next thing you know, the dandelions are bloomed, the maples have bloomed. We're right into the beekeeping season. It's full on. And when all that's going on, we're sometimes spread so thin that we're not getting the videos out and doing the work and keeping everything going. So the videos were the things that were suffering a little bit, actually a lot of bit. There was some great content that I had with Marla Spivak and Chris Werner, Blake Shook. We had some video with Cayman, and the list goes on and on. And I still have a couple more from last year that I still need to put out. But you have, what's interesting is you take that video, and at first you think the goal of the video is to capture the video to share what it's like being there, right? You've got an interview and someone there that you're sharing, and I do believe 100% that none of those videos were meant to just launch right after that. Everything happened for a purpose. And as the season progressed and the closer we got to the B Expo, all of a sudden on the inside, you're just on fire. It's hard to explain, but now is the time, right? And you just start firing one off and one off and one off. One with Mr. Ed. I mean, you start firing these things off, right? And all of a sudden you feel like, oh my gosh, there is an enormous direction that I can feel. I got to get these next few ones out. But you have a feeling that, okay, I've got to get this done in a certain amount of time. You don't know which one. There were some of these that we had done before or later that they didn't go in the order we were editing them. They went in the order, this one feels right for whatever reason, boom, and it goes out. So here we are getting all these interviews out from last year. And I told Susie last year, I said, there is one video I think that I've ever taken. There's one video that I want to 100% make sure that people see. And I'm struggling with the time to make it happen. How do we get this thing edited? And it might not seem like a big deal. So here we are, and we're getting closer and closer to the B Expo, and it got pressed on me hard. Like, which video is next? The Chris Werner. And I'm thinking, okay, that's what I felt. That's what I heard. Here's the weird thing. There's a lot of folks on here. I'm on my phone, so I can't see the comments, but I saw that like 33 Mile Phil was on here. He's a YouTuber. You guys know, anyone listening that I can't see who create videos, like that can be an enormous process. It could take days, weeks, months to edit, or it could be just a quick one-off. It's live, boom, it goes out. Well, this video, we've got a certain way that the videos kind of look now with like an intro. We do the video, and then we try to make sure that we're doing the right thing by sharing our products in the right way. And so this whole video just fell into place. There was no effort. It just was boom, 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 boom. Like it was one of the few videos that it just felt so right. Everything just boom, 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 boom. Well, got that video out, and I'll say this: if you haven't seen that video with Chris Werner, we go hard on what we believe, why these things are successful in our life. We give God all the credit and the glory for that. And as I'm putting that video out, there is the opposing side, the opposing force, kind of, oh, you shouldn't. If you put that out there and people hear that, maybe they're going to stop watching. You put that out there and people are going to see that. What are they going to think? And it was that moment where I just said, it's going out. This is who we are. This is what we believe. This is the time to go out. All that dissolves, disappears. And then it was like rapid fire. Our channel it was stagnant. It was not moving. It was like stuck at, I don't know, whatever it was, 9.7, right? it was stuck there no matter what. And you have that, and I'll get into that maybe some other time. That opposing, that don't put it out. You're trying to instill fear. Don't put it out. What are people going to say about you? You went hard on this with it, and then all of a sudden you say, you know what? No, that's what we're called to do, is to be a lighthouse, share who we are, give God the glory, and we're not afraid to do that. We're not ashamed to do it. We're going to put that message out, and I don't care what happens. That's the right thing to do. That's who we are. Somebody needs to hear this. We put that message out, and as soon as I say, okay, that's what we're doing, I put that thing published, and I we would now it publishes, and now I'm working on Expo sign printable things. I'm just there. It's late. Like it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. All of a sudden, my computer screen is ding, comment on the video, ding, 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 and all of a sudden I'm looking at the comments, and I'm thinking, holy smokes, what's going on here? And it's, thank you for sharing your faith. Thank you for giving God the glory. Thanks for encouraging me.
Mhm.
Thanks for not being ashamed. And I'm thinking, what in the world is going on here? You guys know what happened? Like our video, we've got a small channel, right? And so for us, if we get 500 to 1,000 views in the first 24 hours in a video, that's a big deal. This video hit, however it hit. It had to have been a God thing. 3,000 views the first day. I mean, it was 5, 6 times the normal views that it normally gets, the amount of comments, but nearly every single comment was all saying the same thing. It was just one of those things that reaffirmed and said, hey, this is your path. This is what you should be doing. This is what you're called to do. The channel hit 10K on that video, just like boom, it just went there, and it's still going.
Mhm.
So it's just been it's been an interesting time where so many folks are coming up and saying, "Hey, thanks for sharing that video. You got, for you, Bruce and Brian, sharing who you are, who you believe in, why you believe that, who
Mhm.
you give the credit and the glory to."
Yeah.
That's all I'm hearing. Everyone that's coming up, they're not saying, "Hey, you have a great bucket feeder video." They're not saying, "Hey, this." They're saying, "Hey, thanks for sharing. Thanks for encouraging. It means a lot in my life." And like I mentioned earlier, guys, like sometimes we might not think what we do is that important. We're just being who we are, and it's no big deal. But there were some folks that came up today that they are literally saying watching that video literally saved their life. They and I didn't want to get into the details. They were in a really bad place, and hearing just that little bit of an encouragement, that someone just sharing, reminded them of who they are, reminded them of who holds the future.
Mhm.
God, that's a big deal. You sometimes you don't think that just a little video saying, sharing who you are makes a difference. We can make differences in showing folks how to raise queens and how to make splits and how to feed bees, right? But we can make an even bigger difference and a bigger impact sharing who we are, who we
Mhm.
believe in, and why, and sharing that faith with folks. And that really pumps me up.
Mhm.
Yeah, I appreciate. Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say we're all in the place where we need to be. This started out, and it was a joker's. I don't even know which way to point with this. It was a joker's, idea. Hey, let's start doing live streams, and he just he reached out to another guy, Brian. It's an excellent name, and got pointed my direction, and we just it's all just clicked, and people have. I've had several individuals comment on that video. They just come up and are like, "Thank you." It's what with today's world and everything that's going on, for people to just openly share that. You don't see it that often. It's what people need to see, people need to hear. Several people came up and commented about that video, and like us, we're where we need to be,
That's
you
it.
know.
Yeah, I feel like well, when I was younger, I was way more on the sleeve with what I believe. I was out there. I was a missionary for a couple of years, and I
Wow.
was somewhat aggressive with what I did, and I would even argue and sometimes fight with people about it. But I've learned that contention is not of God.
Yeah.
Defending your faith is, but contention
Right.
is not. And so, what I've discovered is and I really appreciate this about you guys, is I feel like none of us hide who we are. None of us hide the bad stuff that happens. Obviously you can't share everything all the time, but like we all are. I think what you see is what you get for the most part. At least that's how I try to be, and I hope that people can feel that it's real. And the other thing that is amazing is that we all three believe are Christian. We all believe in Jesus Christ and his God and the truth behind his gospel. We all, I think, are probably members of different churches, so to speak, but we all have a tremendous faith, and that together has helped us to be strong. And that, I think, has guided us through this whole process. We have different, we belong to different churches, so to speak, per se. We lost Greg there.
Yeah.
We and we have different type of beekeeping operations. We're all different. Like Greg's the biggest, and but we all just get along because we are just who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I appreciate you guys. I think my phone, I'm on my phone's battery. I'm on my phone's Wi-Fi right now, so I think I'm about to lose the chat here in a minute because I can't get the hotel Wi-Fi to work right. So I'm using my phone hotspot, but I just really appreciate you guys. We appreciate all of you guys in the comments. I've seen many people here. Ian Casper asked where I served on my mission. I went to Ecuador for 2 years. He was wondering. And so, but anyway, yeah, I just appreciate you guys so much. You guys are awesome. And and it's not just the three of us. Like we always joke about how nobody's watching. It's just the three of us here talking together. But really, it's the whole community. It really is. And we just, it's just been phenomenal. It's been a phenomenal 3 years, and hopefully we have, we never know what the future holds, but I can't see anything changing as far as we're going to keep this thing rolling for a while, as far as I can tell. And so I really appreciate you guys. I'm going to get my charger and plug my phone in so we can talk a little bit longer.
Bruce is going to throw it all
Brian,
out there.
what are you most excited about for day 3, last day tomorrow, Brian? What I think it is. Yeah, tomorrow's the last day. We're probably past bedtime. Brian, what are you looking forward to tomorrow?
Honest, it's just exactly what I've done the last 2 days. Being there at booth 215 and just being able to meet folks, talk to folks, take more pictures with people. That's it. For me, you can't put a price tag on that. Like David said, be present in the moment. And that's exactly it. So that's exactly what I'm going to look forward to tomorrow.
Greg, how about you? What do you got? I know obviously.
I think that's, man, yeah. Just tomorrow, my goal is to be in the here and the now when tomorrow gets here. And that's a great interview. I can't wait to get that one out. Whenever it feels like it's the right time to get all those things out, that's when they'll go out. But today was a great reminder of being in the here, being in the now, not worrying about 5 minutes ago, not worrying about 5 minutes to come, just being right there and enjoying it. And it seems like that's really made a big difference this year. I know that I've got a couple of visits for sure tomorrow. I got something really special. If you're listening to this and you're going to be at the Bee Expo, I invite you to come to booth 215 tomorrow, right about 9:15 and 9:30. I've got some very special things going on. I want you guys to be a part of that too. So stop out. It's I don't want to let the cat out of the bag because it's possible the person who I'm trying to. It's just 9:15 tomorrow morning. We've got some guys where one of the things that I want to do here, I probably shouldn't even go down that road, but somebody else will probably tell the story, and we'll leave it at that. But there's a lot of you guys right now on this chat that are YouTubers. Just you make this, and let's be honest. Some of these guys are never going to be the headliner at a 4,000 attendee expo as a main speaking person. Right? Maybe some of these folks are never going to get the opportunity to speak at a bee club, but what they're doing, I would argue, is even more important because they are showing up. They're being a lighthouse to so many folks. I just found a little small way to honor them. I'll leave it at that. Tomorrow, I've got another way that I want to honor somebody, and we've started something, and it's tomorrow is the 2025 Lighthouse Achievement Award, and I'm gonna give that to somebody very special. So, folks, stop in the booth right around 9:15 or so, and be a part of that. It's a really special thing. Tomorrow, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to a lot more conversations with folks, just being in the moment, snapping some photos, just some selfies, shaking hands, snagging some video when it makes sense, but not obsessing, but not getting crazy, right? Um, and just spending time with you guys, right? You know, we get to spend every Wednesday like this, but to actually be in the same room with each other, it's just, you know, we've had dinner now 2 nights in a row with a bunch of great folks too. But I'm going to try to be in the moment and appreciate just all the time that we get to spend with everybody, and get wrapped up in all the things. Just be right there with whoever it is that I'm around. Just be in that moment. That's what I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Stop by, be part of it. 2:15. Bruce, what about you?
Yeah, 9:15. That is going to be a great moment for those who are listening in. Try and show up, and it's going to be really cool what Greg's got planned there. So I think I think Greg, you have some wise counsel just to live in the moment. I know Brian, you'd agree with that, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think we worry so much about planning for the future, and this is a big event, and we have big events in our lives, big moments in our lives, and we worry so much about getting ready for those moments. It's kind of like athletes practice and practice, and then when the moment comes, sometimes you can't even enjoy what you're going through. And but if you prepare, if you come ready, then just live in the moment and enjoy it while you can, and then those memories will be there for you. And I guess that's wise counsel for really anything we do in life, and not always be worried about things not working out, not always be worried about. Sometimes just live in the moment and enjoy it. And you can always look back. If something doesn't happen the way you want, you can go back and fix it. But many times things will go much better than you think, and it'll be a cherished memory for you for the rest of your life. And that's definitely how these conferences have been, and how this whole community is, and I mean, it's just opportunities through beekeeping, through the bugs in the box that I never would have had any other way. And so, but I think we'll just kind of close this thing out. I really just want to get on for a few minutes and touch base with everyone, kind of let you know that we are up here in Louisville, and we've had a really good time. It's been different this year, I think, in a positive way. And I don't really know that I'm going to put out some kind of a fancy video. If I do, I don't even know if it's going to be very good, but there is going to be a video on my channel. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. It may not be necessarily one that I put together, but you'll see when it's really neat. We've got a young man up here that's doing some really cool things.
Yeah.
Actually, he had my mics all day today, so he was working on something. I think it'll be kind of fun, but the kid that's just having a blast doing some stuff, just a young man, a college age kid that's having a good time. But
yeah,
we appreciate everyone,
Cool.
and we appreciate everyone who joins us, who enjoys what we do. And there are so many other people out there doing things too, other live chats out there every evening, just the community that's out there. There's other chats. There are people that are out there, like Greg said, the smaller channels that are just sharing what they do. And so many people just keeping it real and just being who they are and just doing their best to contribute in their own little way. And we all are totally different in our styles and what we do, but it all just works. It comes together. And I appreciate you guys and everyone out there who's contributing to this great community, this beekeeping community, and especially the stream team community tonight. So, Greg, I'm gonna let you bring it on home like you always do. Yes, sir.
Man, thanks. Thanks for. I got a lag here. Sorry. Thanks for going on your live. It's we just saw each other, but it's still something special to get on here and do it. There's always something important. There's always a reason why we get on and do this, whether we know it or not. I don't know. Maybe we could do this. We've got something special at like 9:15 and 9:30. Let's maybe put the call out, like an official stream team roll call at booth 215, 9:00. If you're listening to this, if you're a viewer or listener, if you love the stream team, come to our booth at 2:15. Let's try to get a group photo all together. See if we can fit in there. At 9
o'clock.
9 a.m. 9 a.m. Let's 9 a.m. right there. We'll be together at 9 o'clock. All
Greg, we have a pretty significant lag.
Bye.
We have a pretty significant lag. So what I'm hearing is 9 o'clock tomorrow morning at booth 215. We're gonna just whoever's there, spread the word. We're gonna have a big photo with folks who enjoy watching the stream team and who enjoy this community. We'd love to have you there, and just whoever's there will snap a picture before the presentation that Greg is going to do. Greg, I think you've been lagging. We couldn't hear you there a little bit at the end. Maybe you can try and close it out one more time, and we'll see how it works.
Bruce, hey guys, we'll see you tomorrow. No more short story longs. 9 booth 215. All teamers. See you there.
All right.
Awesome.
Be the lighthouse and be the change you want to see in this world. Y'all take care, and y'all have a good night.
We'll see you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.